Yo, what's up you guys, Tempts here. This is going to be a quick little tutorial on creating a clan logo PSD. This is not going to be so much the creation of the logo, I'm going to make a separate tutorial on that. But this is going to be more creating a editable PSD that you can customize for avatars and stuff like that. So what we're going to start out with is opening up Cinema 4D. And you're going to open up your Lightroom. You don't need anything too fancy for your Lightroom. I just got, some lights. That's about it. You don't need like HDRIs or anything. Just some basic light setups, and you want really even light. I have an extrude NURBS in here already. It should be centered 0, 0, and 0. Okay, now it's centered. The only materials we really need to worry about are these white ones. I've got one with. Oh, they're both the same. Okay, I thought I had one with reflection, but they're both the same. You just want a plain. Pretty much off-white material with a specular. Specular's fine, and that's about it. Now what we're going to do, just to get right into this, is go to File, Merge, and we're going to find our AA file. I'm just going to go through here, and I'm going to go with Obey, because that's a pretty easy logo to work with. Excuse me. Now we're just going to want to center this again, 0, 0, and we're going to want to scale it to fit, and just drag into our extrude NURBS. Now, if you have an extrude NURBS and you don't have hierarchical, I don't know how to pronounce that. I believe it's hierarchical. I don't know. Just check it if you have more than one path inside your group, and it'll extrude everything. Now, what we're going to want to do is just rotate this a little bit and position it to look how we want it. We can scale it up again as much as we want. Make sure that everything fits within the window, obviously, and we're going to go ahead and render. Here's my render settings. 1080 by, it's basically 1080p, 1920 by 1080. I save it as a PNG with the alpha channel on because that makes it a transparent background. Ambient occlusion, global illumination, just give some nice shadows and lighting. Object glow doesn't really matter because my object isn't glowing. My materials aren't glowing, I should say. Yeah. So I'm gonna render this, and I'll see you guys in Photoshop. Alright, now we're here in Photoshop. This is a PSD I made yesterday. Ignore that. What we're gonna do is make a new document. We can hit Control N to do that. We're gonna go to File, New, and we're gonna hit 800 by 800 for our dimensions. Now we're gonna start off with this white square. If your background contents are set to white, what we're gonna do first is just create the background for this. We're gonna have a light background as well as dark background, so it's really versatile to use. As you can see with this one, if I turn off the CC, you got this black and like kind of gray gradient going on in the back, and then you have this one where if I hide the logos, it's just kind of a white to gray, very subtle vignette type gradient. What we're going to do is go in here, and we're actually going to make the black one first. We're just going to fill it with black. You can hit Control Backspace if your background color is set to black. If not, you can just hit Control I, and that will actually invert the white background. What we're going to do is go to our brush, and we're going to make a nice brush. 0 hardness, size, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, not 100, I wanted 1000. Yeah, 1000 should work. And you're just going to want to get it as close to the center as you can. Oh, we want to make a new layer, and we want to paint right in the center. Just one quick click, and we're going to turn the opacity down a lot. 13 looks good to me, and we're just going to merge those layers by what we're going to do is Control click on both of them, so that both of them are highlighted, and hit Control E, and that will merge them. Then what we're going to want to do is go to our filter gallery, and we're going to want to go to brush strokes and spatter. Here's my settings. I set my spray radius to 14 and my smoothness to 1, but that's just for this. If you're doing something larger, you're obviously going to have to change the settings. And there we go. Nice smooth gradient in the background. Now what we're going to do is create this light background that I have. We're just going to fill this layer with white, and then we're going to go over here, get an elliptical, and we're just going to make a circle from the center. Now if you hold Shift and Alt, it will grow from the center and it will stay a circle. What we're going to do is click this little Refine Edge button, and we're going to feather about 70. Now, here we go, once it loads. Now we'll have this nice kind of feathered selection, I guess. And you won't be able to see the feathering too much just because we're working on a white background. But if we go ahead and hit Control Shift I, and we're going to make a new layer, and we're going to fill it with black. You'll get this kind of vignette effect. Now if we turn the opacity down a little bit, we have our vignette. I might actually turn the lightness down on the white just a little bit. We can do that by clicking our white layer and hitting Control U, and it'll bring this hue and saturation window, and you can just turn your lightness down. I'm going to set mine to -15, and I'm just going to merge these layers. I'm going to name this one light, and I'm going to remove the lock from this one by dragging to the trash can, and name this one dark. Now I like working on the dark background just because I feel like it's easier to see what I'm doing, so that's what I'm going to work on. Now what we're going to do is go to File, Place. I'm working with CC, so it says Place Embedded or Place Linked. Either way, you should be good. I'm just going to merge my, I'm going to place, my render that we just made in Cinema 4D. Now I'm going to scale this up to be really big, because we can scale it and position it and all that from there, and I prefer to work with a larger logo as opposed to starting small and having to scale up where we can lose quality. Now I'm going to rotate this and position it how I like, scale it how I like, and that should be good. Now if we need to adjust it, I'm actually going to just push it into place and nudge it into place with my thumb keys, or my direction keys, whatever they're called, and I'm going to center it, distribute it horizontally in the center. Vertically in the center you can sometimes do, but I prefer to keep it a little bit elevated so we can add a name down here. Now what we're going to do is grab our pen tool. And this part can be a little tricky. As you can see here, we have this kind of like shade where it kind of matches. But if you know what your logo looks like, you should be all set. We're just going to trace the front face of this logo, meaning anything that kind of goes back behind it, just ignore. And you're just going to want to click around. If you have a rounded logo and you need to get some curves, if you don't know how to use the pen tool too much, if you have a curve and you need to stop it, just alt-click on the point. I'll demonstrate right here. You can just alt-click like that, and then you can continue from there. Yeah. So I'm just going to go right through this. We're almost done. And we're going to close that off, make selection, and once we have this selection, we're going to hit Control J, and that will duplicate our layer. Now with the Obey logo, as you can see, we're missing this little piece, so just go ahead and reselect your render layer and pen tool that little piece out. Make selection, Control J to duplicate, and we're going to again select these two layers and merge them. Now what we're going to want to do is go to this little effects window and go to gradient overlay, and it'll bring up our layer style window. What we're going to want to do is set it from a darker gray to a pretty much white gray kind of color. You don't want it to be, perfectly white, but dark enough or light enough that you can tell that there's a gradient. Might actually make that a little bit darker. Alright, perfect. Now what we're going to do is just rasterize this layer style so that we can actually make overlays and that kind of stuff for it. But that's pretty easy. Now what we're going to do is rename this to overlay, and we're going to rename this to logo. What we're going to actually want to do right now is rasterize our logo layer, and we're going to hit Control U to bring up this hue and saturation window again. We're going to turn the lightness down just because I feel like it's really white. And if we just turn our overlay layer back on, you can see we have our logo. Now what I like to do is duplicate our overlay layer and go to FX, Inner Glow, and I set this to white, keep the blend mode on screen, and I turn the size up. Now what we need to do is turn our fill all the way down, and we can just rename this Glow. Now if we were to go to File and place an image, I'm just going to search for an image. I'm obviously going to blur all this out just because I don't want you guys seeing everything I have on my computer, but any image will work really. I'm just going to choose this one. And if we scale it to fit on the logo, if we hit Control, if we hit right click and hit Control, create clipping mask, excuse me, I keep saying Control, I don't know why, I just want to hit that for some reason. It'll be on your logo, and you'll have this glow. You can turn it on or off. I like it having it on, as I said. And now we're going to add our name. This is pretty easy. font I like to use is called Kotor, I believe. It's a free font on DaFont, so just feel free to download it from there. I'm just going to type name, because that's what I like doing just as a placeholder. And what we're going to do is go to Effects, and Gradient Overlay. And again, just this is kind of just a gray to white type gradient. You don't need to have too many, darker colors and too much stuff going on. And add a drop shadow, 90 degrees, and basically just make whatever you like for the layer style and the text. And that's about it. We're done. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and comment. If not, let me know what I can do better. Thanks for watching.